Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to KAMDI Candid Conversations. I am so excited. Some special guests here today. So I am really excited. We have one that is on his way, and I'm gonna just give some housekeeping while we're waiting on him, and then we will officially get started. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you are joining us at the top of this broadcast, there is a link. Please press on it and give Facebook access or give StreamYard access to your name so we know who is here with us this afternoon. And we are waiting for one more person. However, I'm going to go ahead and introduce this 54-year-old group, which when you put it that way, it really sounds like a long time, but it is. But you are icons, R&B icons and legends, the Whispers. Thank you so much, Walter and Scotty and soon Lavelle, for joining us this evening. We're afternoon there, evening here. Thank you so much. I'm so honored and privileged and blessed to have you all here. Thank you.
Right back at you, Tanya. We are too. We're blessed to be sitting here with you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So everyone is joining us. I'm having some technical issues, it looks like. So please bear with us. We have one person that's going to join us. Lavelle's going to be here in just a minute, and then I'm going to make sure that we are able to see your comments. Okay. So I'm not sure what's happening, but thank you for joining us. Try and comment and let us see who's here. I'm going to be reading your questions, hopefully, to the Whispers and who you are and where you're from. So please join us and say hello to the mighty Whispers. We're so excited that you're here. And hopefully Lavelle will be here. I'm trying to stall a little bit so Lavelle can join us officially. We just had a little technical issues with him, but hopefully that'll be rectified in just a minute. I see Marquez is testing. John Cunningham is saying hello. Thank you.
Thank you for everybody who's ever checking in. We want to say thank you. Thank you for having us. It became, this new technology, obviously, 4 years is getting ready to show up in here in a minute. This is all brand new to us, but hey, we loving it.
And we're loving it because we get to see you and kind of meet you virtually.
There he is.
There you go. Computers. What wonders are they, right?
Yes, but you're with us and
buddy.
you look great.
Yeah, tell them to take her
yes,
off.
it worked.
All right, yeah.
You're good to go. Thank you, Lavelle. Welcome. I just officially welcome. We were working out some technical stuff, but we're good to go. You got some people saying hello, Eric Haley. You gentlemen are a Black institution. So glad you had time for Tanya's chat today. Thank you, Eric. That was from Eric Haley.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
Those that are joining us, be sure you click on the link at the top that says allow StreamYard access so we can see your names. Otherwise, I won't know who's commenting. I see What's Up Legends. Hi, Shirley Smith checking in from Swedesboro, New Jersey. Thank you for joining us. All right. So you all just keep letting us know you're here. We're going to go ahead and officially start. Now that we have Lavelle here. Lavelle, I was kind of stalling just for you, so you made it. So we're good to go.
I really appreciate it.
No problem. You look great.
You got old men with technology. It just don't work. So.
It doesn't always work for the young folks, so it's okay. Make you feel better. So I always like to start at the beginning. So let's go back. And in your case, we're going back a little ways, 54 years back. Can you tell me how it all started? Tell me where your interest came in music. How just take me back there to where you first knew this is something I want to do. Can you take us back to that point in time? Whoever would like to go first. Walter, you're next to me. Maybe you can talk first and we'll go.
Okay. Yeah, this kind of, it all started in high school. We're from Watts, California in Los Angeles. And we went to Jordan High School. And we started in the 60s. And at that time, vocal groups was the big thing at the time, not like it is today. The vocal groups were the thing. I mean, we had the Temptations, the Miracles, the Four Tops. So we weren't any different. We wanted to be just like that. And we used to practice in Jordan Down projects. We'd be out what they call doo-wopping. in the summer. In Los Angeles, unlike on the East Coast, it's very nice in the summer and warm. And we'd be out on the line in the projects singing, and we formed a group. They had various talent shows in Los Angeles. Well, you know what? I need to go back even before that. Scotty and I were a duet.
Okay.
We sang as the Scott Twins.
Yes.
And we entered a talent show with Marcus Hudson, who would later become one of the Whispers, Nicholas Caldwell, and Clarence Bradford. They were singing as a trio. And while we were backstage waiting to go on to do our respective acts, we started singing with each other, and we liked the way it sounded. And so we made a pact that night. He said, you know what, after this talent show, why don't we hook up together and make this a group, which meant 5 people. And that's really where the Whisper started, right then and there.
Great. Now, Scotty, did you want to add anything else to that?
Well, no, I'm surprised Walt's memory is that good. I mean, I'm trying to. We had a lot of talent shows and the projects, and we liked what we heard backstage. And like we said, let's put it together, and that's exactly what we did. And lo and behold, we had a group. Well, it wasn't called the Whispers then. We just started harmonizing together and singing together, and we put it together. Later on, it became the Whispers.
Right.
Okay. And Lavelle, how about you? How did everything get started for you?
Well, I came along about 7 years after their career. So I've been there about 45 years now. And singing for me started when somebody treated me to a concert, and I saw the Delphonics.
Oh, okay.
And but before then I was like singing a little, doing like everybody else does, singing a little on the corner with little doo-wop groups, and not too late on the corner because mom wouldn't go for it. So I had to sing in the house on the doo-wop. We all had to come in the house and do our thing. But I love being a tenor. I love that high, pretty falsetto. So once I saw the Delphonics and I saw the reaction, the way the ladies reacted to his tenor, I said, oh yeah, I got to find a way to get into this business somehow, some way, some fashion. And I was lucky enough to go to a concert. A young lady, I remember her is yesterday. Her name was Cookie, and she took me to a Whisper concert. And I saw these 5 guys come out. They were all dressed in green. They looked like, looked like 5 worms because they were so skinny at the time. It was like thin. But boy, once they finished singing and then they start cartwheeling and doing all kinds of crazy stuff on stage. I mean, the dance, they did a lot of routines, but after the routines, before they left, they were jumping over one another, doing splits and all that.
Really? Okay.
And I was like, oh, I would really like to be a part of this group because just the way that they performed, they looked like they enjoyed it. Well, then I wind up going backstage and meeting Scotty. And me and Scotty, my end with him, me and him had the love of cars. I mean, he loves cars, I love cars. So we became kind of friends off of the car thing. And then I'd start picking him up in the airport because he lived in Oakland. He'd come in periodically. I'd pick him up at the airport and we hang out all day. I'd take him where he needed to go. And then when he got ready to leave, I'd say, well, just call me. I'll come pick you up and take you back to the airport. And one day going back to the airport, a song came on with Ooh Baby Baby by the Miracles. And I started singing. I don't even know why I was singing from because I wasn't auditioning from him, just what I did in my car. And before I knew it, I started singing and he was beside me. He's like, man, I didn't know you could sing. I said, oh yeah, I do a little something. And he says, man, your falsetto is so pretty. But he didn't know I had been training to learn his falsetto because I love the tone of his. So that's what I did. I just said, well, let me study his falsetto. If ever opportunity comes, then I'm gonna be right there.
You were planning it, okay.
Yeah, and lo and behold, one of the gentlemen got hurt in a car accident and messed up his larynx, and from that, man, I never looked back. And they brought me in, and that's another story in itself. But I won't go that long because I'll be like motor mouth here.
Okay, so. That's okay though. We wanted to hear how it all came together. At least I guess the short version of it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very good. Okay, so let's say so you all we do need to find out how you ended up in the group in that process. But you said you've only been with them 45 years. I mean, only 45. I mean, I'm gonna say you're pretty much an
You might
original.
be a little closer to 47 because I joined them 7 years after their career, and we've been together 54, like Walt said. So it's probably
Okay.
57 now. So yeah, so I'm getting closer to the 50 mark.
Yes, you are. And that's just phenomenal. We'll talk about that in a little bit of time, because that in itself is something that the amount of years you all have been together. But walk us through, so you're together as a group. And so what happened after that? So you get a record deal. Walk us through the process. Just take us on back down memory lane so we can get up to the current, or at least somewhat of the current. So you're together, you met backstage, you started a group. And that was before Lavelle, I understand that. But you didn't.
Yeah, they were actually.
Go ahead, Walter.
Yeah, we were recording it. We were recording at that time, but we really skipped a lot of it because I went to Vietnam, and the group went on when I was in the Army. That's kind of when the Whispers became the Whispers. That's kind of when when they paid their dues. Scotty can tell you how they drove all over this country, performing probably in every nightclub in the United States.
Yeah.
But what you want to go into, Scotty?
You know what? I'm gonna pass up a lot, but we ended up going to a small record label called Doorway Records, and it was owned by a man by the name of Lou Bedell, and we were auditioning, trying to get a record deal from Doorway Records. And he said he liked our sound. He said, "Man, you guys have this real smooth sort of a whisper type sound. Why don't we just call the group the Whispers?" And honestly, what we said to him is that, "Hey, you give us a record deal, call us anything you like." And believe me, that's actually how we got the name the Whispers.
Yes.
I mean, before that, we had I don't remember a lot of them, but we had names that I couldn't even tell you what they meant. We had a name we would call the Eden Trio. I don't know what that meant.
What was it, Scotty? Say it again.
We were called the Eden Trio.
That's what I thought you said. Okay.
And, because it simply sounded good. What it meant, we had no idea, and really didn't care. So we got the record deal with Doorway Records, and really that's what started our singing career into the professional side.
Right. And thank you for saying, I was going to ask you how you found the name, which you already shared, so I don't have to ask that question. Thank you. So let's pick up from there. So, and Walter, thank you for your service in this. Were you in the Army?
You're welcome.
Was it the Army?
I was in the Army, and served a year in Vietnam. Yeah.
We thank you for your services. We don't want to overlook that, especially these days. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
So you came home. They've been on the road. They've been doing their thing, and you came home. And so you have been out the mix for 4 years. Did you say 4?
No, I spent 2 years. I was drafted in the Army. Yeah. 60. Okay. I was drafted in 65, got out in 67.
Okay.
But when I came back, the group, they had really developed a great deal. In fact, what they were then versus what they were when I left was like day and night. I didn't come back and immediately join the group. I happened to go to, like Lavelle, I went to a concert. And when I came back, instead of going straight to the Whispers, I was trying to get a college degree at the time. And I kind of foolishly told myself, you know what, if I get this degree, then I'll join the guys. But I really didn't really want to do that. My mom said, I don't know why you fooling yourself. You know you want to be out there with your brother. And she was right. So in the middle of going to Cal State LA, I decided to join the group and come back. And this was like 71. And from that point to this, we kind of migrated to where we are today. It's a lot of years in between. That's when we met Dick Griffey and joined the group, joined the record company, Solar Records. And the hits started coming. Okay,
well, and then where did Lavelle come in? Tell us what happened with that. How Lavelle actually got to join the group.
Well, after Gordy, you want to do it, Walt?
No, Gordy Harmon. Yeah, he had an accident. You explain it.
Okay.
Gordy Harmon had this accident, and I just happened to go to a concert in LA because I frequent their concerts all the time when they were in LA, and I'd be looking at the group, studying the group, seeing how they moved and stuff. And one time I came there and Gordy wasn't there. So I was like, whoa, okay, this is okay. What's going on with this? I said, this may be the way in. So Scotty, me and Scotty talked and he says, would you be interested? I said, heck yeah, I'd be interested. Well, he had one opposition, and that's my big boy Nick.
And that's what?
That's big boy Nicholas Caldwell.
Oh, yes.
He was my obstacle. I had to get over that big man, and he's a big guy, so I had to hurdle him. But what he was concerned with, what they did is he wind up saying, okay, well, let me see what he's about. Scotty would convince him, saying, no, man, he's straight laced. He wears penny loafers, V-neck sweaters. This is the guy who don't smoke, he don't drink, he don't do any of those things. He would fit. His voice is beautiful because Scotty's concentrating on the singing portion. Nicholas was concentrating on the dancing portion.
Okay.
So Nick said, well, let me see what he can do. So he took me in a room and we worked and did a little something. I could do all the colloquial stuff in the world, but Nick's routines, if you've seen us, are the most complicated routines on planet Earth. I've had other entertainers come up and say, what are you dancing to? Because I don't know where the one, and sometimes you're off and you're in between time and then you're back to the one. So Nick told me, went back to Scotty, told him, man, I don't think he could do it on the dance side. So I think if you let me have a national audition and bring in some guys and I can see if I can find somebody better than him, then, if you let me do that, then we'll see what goes on. So Scotty and them agreed. They had an audition right down there on Crenshaw Boulevard, and I was at home praying that they wouldn't find anybody in the meantime. And they auditioned a bunch of guys. They didn't fit, one way or the other, they didn't fit the chemistry. So then he told Scotty Relinquish, he says, okay, I'll work with him. And I worked with Nicholas on the routines for 1 solid year.
Wow.
On the road, only thing I did was I'd stand on the side of the stage. Nobody could see me. They set up a mic, and I would sing all the background parts while I watched them perform. And then at night, me and Nick would go over routines. Wow. And I did that for 1 year. And finally, at Ruthie's Inn, I'll never forget it. That was my maiden voyage on stage, and I've never shaken so much in my life. You could see my knees shaking. When they told me when I walked in there, okay, tonight you're going to go on stage, I thought I was going to literally die right there on the spot. But we got through it and never looked back then.
The rest is history, yes. And so Nick was your choreographer, is that correct?
Yeah, Nick did all the choreography. Yeah.
Wow. Because you all have some serious choreography, and you told me flips and cartwheels earlier, Lavelle, when you first saw them. Were you guys doing cartwheels? Now, I haven't seen that show. So.
Oh yeah, we actually did. Yeah, we actually did. No question about it. We did the splits, but you know what? You're too young to know. But back in the day, all these groups, there was a competition that was incredible among these vocal groups. I'm talking about the Dramatics, the Temps, the OJs. They all wanted, we were friends, but we all wanted to outdo each other on stage.
Right.
So when you came on stage, if you had great routines and you could dance and sing very well and let the audience see how well rehearsed you were, that meant everything. Mm-hmm. And every group was trying to do that, and we took our mark. The Temptations were number one.
Right.
With the Temptation Walk and, from them on down, all these groups were doing what we did. But we put an emphasis on being well rehearsed. And you've seen our show over the years. I mean, in my opinion, I think that's what's extended the longevity because we take it very serious. When we come on stage, we want it to be right.
And it is right. Yes. And I was going to mention that when you said you had to wait a whole year, Lavelle, because it had to be right before you hit that stage.
Right. That's right.
I would have never guessed you were singing behind stage for a year. That's a long time.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. But hey,
he did.
If you want something bad enough, you have to be patient,
Yes.
And
there's so many.
I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Yes.
Guys were such professional back then, and here I'm a guy that's a rookie trying to catch up to that,
right.
As professional as them. And it's down to, you have to think about, the routines are no big thing once you get through those. but it's negative time. People don't understand this. When you're standing there doing nothing, you have to look like you are doing something. You have to
Yes.
be poised. And that's the hardest part to get around. But they were patient with me because I know I look awkward as hell half the time. But I finally, finally studied it and got it down. So, and it's been a blessing. I mean, you never know what path your life's going to be taken on. And this is the one that I wanted. So I feel so blessed to be able to be doing what I do.
Well, we as fans are blessed that you all came together and that chemistry, you could see it on stage. It truly works all these years. And I'm glad you were patient, Lavelle. You didn't have a choice, actually. But
no, I didn't have a choice at all.
But that's okay. They weren't going to let you go out there if you weren't ready because you're representing them and you didn't want to because you didn't want to embarrass yourself. So that says a lot about the group and you. So we are glad you waited. We're glad Nicholas liked you enough to let you. You made it. So that's all that matters. And here you are 45 years later plus. So that's fantastic. Thank you for that story. There's so many lessons in this interview, especially for those that want to get into the entertainment or music industry that you are saying without saying. The patience, the practice, the stage presence. What you're telling me is people don't know about what you have to do on stage, that stage presence when you're just standing there. And you have to learn that you don't just hit a stage and just go out there, or you can, but you probably won't be here 54 years like the Whispers.
That's very true. I agree with you 100%.
There's a lot of lessons because I always ask, or sometimes I ask, advice you would give newcomers at the end. I usually ask that question, but this whole interview is full of it. So I probably won't ask that because you're giving so many nuggets in the process. So let me keep going. I'm loving it. So we are a group of 5 right now, still, right? We got Lavelle and Nicholas and everybody. You still have the 5.
Marcus,
Marcus.
Oh, the 5 of us, yeah.
Yes.
Marcus, Nicholas, Lavelle, me, Scotty. Mm-hmm.
So, and then let's move on up to your record label. You had a single. Now, you didn't have a big hit. You didn't get a big hit. I'm kind of fast forwarding because I wanted to talk about your manager. You got a manager in that process I wanted to mention. Do you want to talk about Dick
Griffey? Yeah.
Yes, you want to talk about Dick Griffey?
Let's bring it up to we first met Dick Griffey as a manager, and we went into Chicago and we did the Don Cornelius Soul Train show as a local TV show in Chicago.
Yes.
And as you know, later Don and Dick created Soul Train Records.
Yes.
And we were the first artists signed to Soul Train Records because we were clients of Dick, as he was our manager. So we signed with with Soul Train Records, and that began what would become a really nice thing. Soul Train Records basically went dormant, and then Solar Records, which was owned by Dick Griffey, was a record company where we basically did most of our singing that brought about hits.
Okay. And so let me ask you that, have you all seen the show that's on American Soul about Don Cornelius and Soul Train? Have you all watched that at all?
Yes.
Yes, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about
incredible.
that show?
I've never seen it.
You haven't seen it? Lavelle and Walter, you've seen it. What do you think about it? Because it's basically somewhat telling a story. Some of it is not reality, but
and that's the part that you always hate, the liberties that sometimes people take in their creations, and a lot of that stuff it could be unflattering. Actors would say I didn't like some parts of it, but if without something that's that's controversy, there's really no success, because you already know it's always got to show some ugly side to this is whatever the case may be, that's just what it is.
But what a great opportunity to be some of the main artists on Soul Train, right? For you all.
Right. That's what was so great. When I think of Don Cornelius, I really think of him in terms of what he contributed to Black artists. This TV show that he had exposed so many young Black acts that probably never would have been heard of had Don Cornelius not given them the exposure on Soul Train. So when he created the record company with Dick, I think that's what he was trying to do. He later went on to come back to the TV show, but the record portion of it I wish Don would have gotten and do get more credit for what he did, because Don Cornelius brought about an opportunity for all these artists that you see
Yes,
that
yes.
have 20-year histories. Every one of them at one time was on Soul Train.
And
So
right.
he made a tremendous contribution as far as I'm concerned. And I always think, when I think the TV show, it was accurate to a certain extent. It showed his bad parts, but what I like to remember about it is what he did for these young black acts in general. Because
Yes.
I mean, there were acts that, they couldn't get on Bandstand, but Don Cornelius would also have, he would definitely have them on his show.
Right.
So he just made a way, for a lot of, and I mean, they give credit, but I wish there was more credit given to Don Cornelius.
Yes. And as a fan, we live for Soul Train. So we just
absolutely.
The show, that's where we look to see our artists. So it was a great show. If it still came on, I'd be watching it.
One quick nugget that people don't know is that because of the friendship that we developed with Don, and mainly Scotty, because he loves Scotty to death, we were the one artist on the show that appeared on the show more than any artist in the history of the show. So we have that distinction as well.
That's wonderful. Do you know how many times?
No, I don't know how many times. I just was told that by his son, Tony. Okay. He says, you were on the show more than any artist that we've ever had on there. I said, really? So I'm going to have to look that up, as you asked, because that question is probably going to come up now that I'm motor mouth here later.
Let me read a couple of the questions and comments over here. Keith Cobbin is asking, what was the tipping point in your career that signaled to you guys that you, quote unquote, made it? When did you know you made it?
Believe it or not, we were on stage in Shreveport, Louisiana in 1980. And in the middle of the show, they stopped it. Nicholas got really mad because Nick was the kind of guy, if you stop the routines going, he goes crazy. But they brought 5 gold albums on stage, and they presented us those 5 gold albums that night, telling us that our album and the beat, that album that's right in back of you called The Whispers, had finally gone gold. That told us, as far as I'm concerned, that validated for me that our public liked The Whispers. And I never will forget it, because as we stood there that night, we said, "You sure this is this Whispers?" Because there was another Whispers in Europe. We wanted to be sure that it was us.
Oh, that's so funny.
And he said, "No, this is it." It went gold, and about a month and a half later, it was platinum. And about 8 months later, it was double platinum. So that said to us, you made it. They
Absolutely.
like you.
And that was this album, right?
That album.
That album.
I got everybody. I contributed.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to read some more, see if we have any more questions. A lot of comments. Watch Nick's moves on And the Beat Goes On video. He didn't play. Okay, that was from
yeah, no clue.
Nick was serious with them dance steps. I love you guys. There's just a lot of love.
He was.
Yes. Took a picture with Scotty and Walter. You guys were true gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Got to meet you guys backstage at the Capitol Jazz Fest 2012.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yes. I remember that. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
The legends are in the building. Yes, they are. The legends are here. The first song, this is from Shirley Smith. The first song I remember hear from you, gentlemen. I only moment to wet my feet. I was hooked.
Yeah. You know what? Can I comment on that?
Absolutely.
This song that we're going to be talking about later, which is our new song called How Long? And it asks the question of how long are we going to have to continue to, put up with this mess that we're going through right now? Well, go back 40 years and we were asking the same question in this song that you just named. It was called Seems Like I Gotta Do Wrong Before They Notice Me. And at that time, people said, "What are y'all trying to start a riot? Why you ask a question? Why you make a statement like that?" Well, I think that's one of the unique things about our group. We've always been message oriented, and we've always sang songs that people could relate to at that time. So when we got this song, Seems Like I Gotta Do Wrong, man, I never will forget when the guy played it for us. We sat there and we listened. We said, "Oh man, what a message." Well, the same thing happened with this song that we're getting ready to talk about today, So Long. Magic Mendez, the bass player that's in our group, lives in Atlanta. He brought us this song. He said, guys, I wrote this maybe 10 years ago. And we actually saw him doing it. He was planning to release this for himself, and he had a video of it. And we heard the lyrics, and we said, man, we got to release this song on us right now, because this country is changing before our very eyes. Everybody sees what's happening. So what better time to ask the question of how long? And that's really how this record came about. How long?
Okay.
And I love it because it relates to exactly what's going on right now.
So we won't be talking about it later.
Yeah, but I just talked about it then, didn't I? Yeah, absolutely.
But that's okay. Actually, that's a good segue. Let's talk about some of the songs, because you do always have a message in your songs. And before we do that, we're going to tease people a little bit. I've got a little surprise with my DJ. It's time for KAMDI Music Mini Mix. And we've got DJ 12. You are up. Hey, DJ 12.
What's up, DJ?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
What's going on?
Good to
Nice
meet you.
to meet you guys. I tell you up front, I'm a big fan. This is amazing just to see you guys. So thank you for giving me the honor of playing your music for you.
All right.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
In
All
honor
right.
and tribute of you all being here today and having this little KAMDI Candid conversation, DJ 12 put a little mix together. And for those of you that are listening and watching, we want to see how many of these songs you can name. So just post them in the comments and let's see what you get right. Let's see what you can name over here. And for those of you that are listening later, you can guess as well. So DJ 12, I'm going to turn it over to you and let's see what you got for us today.
Just so you know, no pre-recording. This is live.
Yes, we are live.
I heard that.
Not Memorex. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
So, question is, whispers, are you ready for some whispers?
Yeah,
Yes, we are.
I'm definitely ready.
definitely ready.
Definitely ready. Oh, yeah.
Let's see if those of you that are watching and listening, can you hear it? And can you name the songs? It's not gonna be unknown. We got some guesses on those. We're naming them. I know y'all know this one.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you can hear it okay. Yeah, they're naming them. They're getting it, guys.
They get it.
Feel much like romancing. How'd you like
Yep.
to walk around?
They're guessing all of them. They know your music. You got fans on here. It's a hint, everybody.
Say you love me, lady. Girl, I hope you do.
Wow.
We're gonna talk about these a little bit.
Yeah.
Got distracted all the way. Remember I, oh, slowly she's away, and now she's turned up, lost in
Woo, DJ 12, we got the hits going.
It's time for change.
Now, who knows what this is? Let's see. All right.
All right.
Thank you so much, DJ 12. Good job.
Oh, man,
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
DJ, you got it down, my brother.
yeah.
And of course, that was perfect timing
Perfect.
to end
I'm
with
telling
that.
you, that was great.
Yeah, yeah.
DJ 12, we
Yeah,
thank
that
you
was
for
great.
your
Doing, brother.
Thank you, my brother.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Ladies
you,
and
DJ
gentlemen, that was a KAMDI Conversation mini mix. My name is DJ 12. You can catch me every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Raw Truth Radio. That's rawtruthradio.com. Whispers, you're cordially invited. I'd love to have you guys on the show. Thank you for letting me do this for you. It was an honor. I'm out of here. Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks,
It's
DJ
an
12.
honor. Thank you, brother.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
All right. You know what was great to see? I love when I do this. I hope you all
Yeah,
enjoyed
you got it going on, Tanya.
Thank you, Walter. But you know what I love most is that you all are enjoying your own music. You are rocking and singing and dancing.
Brings back a lot of great memories.
Yes.
Yes. I think I just love to see that. Now, those songs, there's always a message in your music and beautiful love songs. And, you usually singing to me. I take it personal. Usually singing to me.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So were those songs play? I mean, they come up. Do people write because that's the kind of music you like, or where do the lyrics come from? Or tell me how they all come about, because a lot of them, us ladies are just like, thank you very much. Tell us how.
Well, we start, you know what? Go ahead, Scotty. Go ahead, Scotty.
We have to start with Nicholas Caldwell with songs like Lady, Are You Going My Way? I mean, we were just blessed to have a man in the group who could write the way he did. And he came up with the right thing at the right time. Some of the biggest ballads that we've ever really had. And a lot of them weren't singles. They was just songs on LP. But I give him the credit. He chose the subject matter some kind of way. He knew what y'all wanted to hear. And we were able to deliver that. So it was a blessing. I give all the credit to Nicholas Caldwell.
Wonderful. And yes.
Yeah, well, I want to add to that. You know what Nick said to us, because we talked about this. He asked us, what do we want to be? How do we want to be viewed? And he talked about one of the main things that we wanted to be viewed as is always respect our ladies, our mothers, our sisters. So the songs that he wrote were all compliments as to how he felt about the ladies. Lady, Say Yes, Are You Going My Way? And we, like Scotty said, we were blessed to have those songs because they created the longevity that the Whispers have. All these songs, believe it or not, with And the Beat Goes On and Rock Steady, they were the biggest up tempos that we ever had. But we're known for songs like Lady and Say Yes.
Yes.
And that we contribute that to Nicholas Caldwell. Believe me.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
That's what a blessing. We just want to say his name and give him honor and tribute today, not being with us, and give him credit. So absolutely, thank you. And all your fans, they're saying Nick bless his heart, so gifted. We miss Nick. There's a lot of comments. You can come back and read these later. There's a lot of wonderful comments about Nick on here.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that boy had energy that could last forever.
Yes, he did.
You know, one lady came up to me and she told me, she said, you know, you guys are all on stage. You two brothers are up front. But she said, I go right by you to get to Nicholas Caldwell because his energy. Yes, she told me, Scotty, that. She said, that man's energy is so contagious. And she was right, because that's what he did on stage. And boy, do we miss him.
Oh, yes. So you went, we're going to talk about kind of what's going on currently. You went from initially a 5-person group to now there's 3 of you. Tell me about that transition. You chose not to replace anyone, and now you're a trio. So was that difficult, or just tell me how that came about and how you made that decision not to replace anyone, just to go with the 3, and it works for you as well. So can you talk about that for a minute?
I think you're gonna get 3 different opinions. Right. Well, I hope you get 3, but I can tell you the reason why we chose not to replace anybody in the group. One thing I know we did agree on, and that they were irreplaceable. We could replace Marcus when he left, and if I'm not mistaken, we lost Marcus in 2000, and we lost Nick.
Yeah, the year 2000.
Yeah, the year 2000.
2016.
2016, we lost Nick, and we felt like we couldn't replace him. You know, me personally, I'm sure like they'll give you their opinion, but I couldn't imagine somebody else standing up there and it wasn't one of them. So it was easy for me. You know, they were irreplaceable as far as I was concerned.
Okay.
Yeah,
we all felt like that.
Exactly, every one of us, and it's kind of one of those things when you look like I still sometimes look over to my right and she's there, and we've been, you know, we show pictures on stage on big screens of Nicholas behind us a lot of times, and it still touches your heart. So you can imagine working with somebody 45 years, 40 plus years for me, and, you know, them, you know, basically around the same amount of years, and then you're going to replace them with a different person, and you got to learn all the personalities again and all that kind of stuff. We know where one another's at, and we know each other. I mean, I can look at Walter and tell when he's off, and you don't even have to say a word. And I can look at Scotty and know that something's bothering him, and vice versa. So it's hard to replace that chemistry. And once you have that, it's like, no. And we've already said the only way that we're going to probably die off one at a time to where there can't be any more whispers, and we will. That's when we'll retire, you know. And we know it's going to come sooner or later, but we hope it doesn't come for another 20 or 30 years. No. So for me, you know. But it also come, and we've already vowed to say, we say this: if our performance ever suffers, then that's time to give it up, because we want to be known as a group like, you know, people say things that, and they tell you the truth, and that's what I love about them. They're like, well, they're not quite like they used to be. When you start hearing that, stay home and play with the grandbabies.
Yeah, Lavelle, I like how you said that. You so politically correct. I like how you just said that. It was very nicely put.
You got to.
Yes.
I work with a lot of folks.
Yes, but you all are a class group. I didn't expect anything less. It's very class group, first class. So, and let's talk about that for a minute, because the last thing I want to talk about is the new single. But before we get to that, because we just have a few minutes left, what struck me a lot in your Unsung episode, which I loved, is one of my favorites because we got to really know you all a little bit more, was the integrity of you all as a group, as I felt, as people, as individuals and as a group, how you support each other, you're truly family, how you leave no man, no matter what the circumstances, good, bad, indifferent, you support each other. And I don't think I see that in a lot of artists, period, but definitely not today. I would be surprised just from what I'm seeing from the outside looking in, how they're represented. Can you speak on that? Because I know it individually you're like that, but as a group, I don't know any groups, you know, many groups people leave, the lead singer leaves, they fight about it, they're going to court, it gets ugly in the end, or if they, you know, go and do something negative, they leave them there. You all never did that. You always supported each other. Can you just speak on that briefly? Because that says a lot about you. And that stood out to me when I saw your ensemble.
Well, I like this.
Well, you know
what
what?
you talk about. I kind of know what you're talking about. So, yeah, and for me, that was amazing because I'm probably the one that was the bad boy that that the unsung could have been all around. The whole show could have been around me. But that's when you really know what you have in gentlemen that are around you that you work with, and it brought me even closer to them to know that they stuck by me through thick and thin. And a lot of people don't know, I never missed a check. I never missed, nothing. They supported me the whole time, and like you said, that doesn't happen today. When I look at the groups now, they divide up. They got two of this group and two of this group, and I won't mention those, but they divide up like that, and that's never going to happen with the Whispers, ever. So
Yes.
for me, the integrity of we've always felt like your weakest you're only
as strong as your weakest link.
There you
Right.
go.
Yes.
That's the term I'm looking for. And so we feel like
Absolutely.
we have to fortify that link, that's actually kind of, maybe cracked or maybe, kind of split a little bit. Then we'll just weld it up and make him strong, and we just keep the chain going. So that's why you see the same members that that you've seen for the last 47 years.
That's wonderful. Did you, Walter and Scotty, you want to speak on that as well?
Yeah, I wanted to speak on it in this realm. I wish the public could have gotten to meet our mothers
Yes.
because Nick was 6'1", Lavelle 6'1". His mother was 4'11".
Oh, wow.
Lavelle's mother was barely about 5 foot, and my mother was 4'11". But these three ladies, when I tell you the integrity that I think we have comes from all of them.
Yeah.
When I tell you that I wasn't afraid of my mother, but I guarantee you I had a fear of her.
Okay.
And she put in us a long time ago. If you can't be a gentleman, if you don't have nothing nice to say, keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? So she taught us early to stick together. And when we met Nicholas and Lavelle and Marcus, they came from the same kind of family. So I just know that that's why we were able to be together for 54 years is because of the way we brought up.
Okay.
I really believe that.
And, and a lot of people that don't believe, don't believe we don't have arguments. And we have arguments, fights and everything. And if you came into our dressing room, you think we want to kill one another. But as soon as that argument's over, I'm like, hey, Walt, you want to go get something to eat? Or let's go get, and that's how we deal with it. We don't hold on to things, and people hold on. As you already know, you probably have some friends that that hold on to everything dear to their chest. Well, that we don't do that. We know that we're a group, and we're going to disagree. We're going to have the right to agree to disagree.
Yes.
And we'll just move on.
Now, I'm going to close out with one word. The word is chemistry. Lavelle said it earlier. Chemistry means everything. That means nobody is better than the other. That's what chemistry is. It's a mixture of things that work together. And we, regardless, I know exactly like Lavelle said, and I appreciate the, I guess, candidness that you were trying to have, that you were talking about, that what basically happened with Lavelle. But we understand it. And that word chemistry is why we are still here. No one, Lavelle is no more important than me, and I'm no more important than him. That's what chemistry is all about. So that's what you see when it comes to the Whispers. The three that's left, that's what it is. The three.
All right.
Simple as that.
Very good. And yes, and you can see that chemistry on stage when you perform. And it just is, and you can't fake that kind of stuff. It comes across on stage. If you can tell,
you're right.
If you're performing and it's not there, it's just not there. There's nothing you can do about it. And you all have had it.
You're right.
It's why you've been around so long, which I think is wonderful. I'm going to read a few more comments or questions. There's a question from Eric Haley. You are a Hall of Fame group, In speaking to your legacy, what message would you like to pass on to the unborn generation or future fans that will hear your music 20 years from now? Ooh, that's a good question.
Ooh.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Got
Anybody
it.
want to answer?
Make you think, huh?
That's unusual. Walter's usually the one that jumps in here right now.
Oh no, I mean I would. I would. You know what? But I want Scotty to say something because y'all call me Motor Mouth. So I'm gonna let Scotty do some talking.
And it's very easy to answer because I'm gonna send the person that asked that question, him and everybody that's looking at this show. I want to send you to one of our CDs. The CD is called "For Your Ears Only," and there's a song on there that called "The Whispers Love You Too." That will explain to you how we want to be looked at and why we do what we do better than anything one of the three of us could say today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know that was written by Nicholas Caldwell, and it basically deals with he came to us and said, you know what, guys, we need to let our audience know how much we appreciate them. So he wrote this song called "The Whispers Love You Too," and I'm like, Scotty, I would direct you to it because it tells you why we sing, why we love our audience, and what music means to us. So go check it out. It'll tell you everything you need to know about how we feel about our legacy.
All right. I love that answer. So we got our homework. Denise Wilkinson says that you have smiles like you were in the studio recording them. I think that's when DJ was playing the song.
Boy, I'm telling you. It made me feel like I was on stage again. I started to almost get up and start doing some routines.
Hey, I was waiting. We were ready. That would have been pretty cool. But I don't know if the computer would have followed you wherever you
Exactly.
went. So.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Great memories of Nick Caldwell. So glad you continue the legacy. We see him with you always. This is from Luther. Hey, Luther is the founder of the Fans of Unsung page. Hey, Luther, my partner in crime. He's here. And so he asked a question. Well, kind of a question. He says, with the classic song, Lost and Turned Out, did you make those pimps mad?
I'm so glad he asked that question.
Yes,
I'm so glad that because I'm gonna give you the backstory on Olivia Lost and Turned Out. The young man that wrote that song, his name is Wayne Bell. And he happens to be the first cousin of Dick Griffey, who was the owner of Solar Records. And he lived in Seattle. He had a niece, which was in Dick's Nim family, who actually turned to the streets and became a streetwalker. And he wrote that song as a way of trying to get his niece off the streets. And when he came down to LA and he played this song for us on the piano, we could not wait. We said, Wayne, if you sing this to anybody else, we'll kill you. Before we recorded. Okay. But it's a true story.
Wow.
And to be honest, this is the funny part. On Sundays, we play Seattle. And on Sundays, the pimps would let their hookers off and they'd bring them to our show. That was their day off on Sunday.
Okay.
Just to say, hey, you can listen to the song, but you're going to go back to work on Monday.
And so the brother, whoever asked that question, he must have knew something about it because what's going on? Oh.
Luther actually asked this. All right. Well, thank you for that. That's
Jan. Something happened to my picture.
We can still see you.
We can still see you, Walt.
Still got you.
We still got
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're almost just about out of time. So before we end, it went so fast. I could talk to you guys longer, but I'm not going to hold anyone. I'm going to stay true to the time. Let's talk about your new single because that's what we definitely want people to know about. Can you? And you kind of spoke on it already, but can you tell everyone? You heard a little bit of it. Everyone, that was the last song DJ 12 played for us. Can you speak on the lyrics, maybe, or whatever you might want to leave people with on that song?
Well, I want. It's very important that we do to let our fans know that before we did this song, which has been about 3 or 4 weeks ago, which was really quick.
Oh yeah.
Because it's been about 14 years since we've had a new record.
Yes.
We were in the process of trying to come with what we would call your standard whisper ballad. Until we heard this song, and really what prompted this song, we heard the lyrics, and we put that with what we saw, what happened to George. what happened to George Floyd, we thought these lyrics say better than anything we could think of. How long do we have to go through this crap as Black people that we're going through? That's really what prompted our new single. Now later on we will be coming with your standard love whisper ballad, but this song here deals with, we're simply saying this is not the first time we've seen Black people being mistreated in this country.
Right.
In the 60s, we had Seems Like I Gotta Do Wrong. That's what that was all about.
Mm-hmm.
Being mistreated, not being treated right. And this song, when we heard the lyrics, change the wrong to right. Love will make a way. It said everything better than we could ever sing it. So that's why we dealing with how long. We're asking a very simple question. How long do we have to go through this crap? It's time. We think we have the answer. The answer is love. Now that may be too simple for some people, but that's what we think it is, and that's what this song is basically saying. If you give love a chance, it'll take you all the way.
Wonderful. Walter, are you back? I'm going to make sure.
Yeah, I think he's having still some technical difficulties. I see his wife's hat in the picture. She's
can
trying
you hear us, Walter? I got another. Walter, can you hear us?
No, I don't think he can.
Hang on, I've got another stream. I don't.
Can you hear us, Walt?
Walt, can you hear us? It looks
No.
like he came back. Uh-oh. Okay. I don't know which Walter. Okay.
Dager, you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what you were going to ask?
I was actually, that was all I had.
No, really? Okay.
I was gonna thank you and call, but I wanted him to be here for that. I don't know.
Right.
We're having some. I've still got 2 streams for him. Well, anyway, I wanted officially. Hopefully, I don't think Walter can hear us at all.
No,
That's okay.
it's okay.
Well, I thank you all for taking the time to be with us this evening. And Walter, can you hear us yet?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We'll tell him how much you love him.
Yes, give him a big hug for me.
Yeah.
But on behalf of the KAMDI group and Luther and the fans of Unsung, we want to thank you all so much for joining us this evening, or it's earlier there, afternoon.
Right.
Spending this hour with, it went so fast. We might have to have you back and talk some more because there's a lot of things. We didn't even get into all the songs I would have loved to talk about.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. We ask continued blessings upon each one of you. Keep performing, keep singing, keep bringing us that wonderful music. We truly appreciate it. We're blessed because of you. Music is a blessing, I always say. And you all have contributed to our soundtracks of life. So thank you so very much. Can you tell us where we can download the single? Where can we just go to your website?
You can go to the website. You can also go to CD Baby, Spotify, iTunes. I mean, we, just about all the streaming mechanisms that you can go to, you can download it. And we want to say thank you so much for giving us this platform.
That's right.
To be able to come to our fans and live this moment with you, because everything's a moment in time. So we love this.
All right. Thank you so much. Walter, we love you. We love you, Walter.
We love you.
God bless you, Tanya. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You all have a wonderful rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in Atlanta.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Take care. Bye-bye.
God bless.